Title: The Truth Changed Everything, a broken bar. The day that changed everything. New York City was wrapped in its usual morning chaos. Honking taxis, rushing crowds, and cold winds brushing past glass towers. Inside one of those towers, billionaire Alexander Thornwell sat in his office, staring at financial reports worth billions. A broken bar, yet feeling nothing. His life had become numbers, meetings, and the cold silence of penthouse rooms nobody lived in. That silence broke when his assistant knocked hesitantly. "Sir, a broken bar. There's a child here to see you." Alexander frowned. "A child? Why would a child?" Before he could finish, the door opened and a small girl stepped in. She couldn't have been older than 12. Worn shoes, braided hair, eyes too brave for someone so young. "I'm Lily," she said softly, "and a broken bar. I came to talk about my mom." Alexander sighed, irritated. "Your mother works here?" "She cleans your office every night," Lily said. "But she fainted today. The hospital won't help, because we owe money." A broken bar. She held out a crumpled hospital form. For the first time in years, Alexander's heart. A broken bar shifted. It wasn't the paper. It was the trembling hands holding it. And in that moment, the billionaire realized this day wouldn't be like the others. It would change everything. The billionaire's first step toward humanity. Alexander didn't know why, but he stood up from his chair, something he rarely did for anyone. "Where is she now?" he asked. "At home," Lily whispered. She said she didn't want to bother Annie. A broken bar. He grabbed his coat. His assistant panicked. "Sir, you have a meeting with European investors in 10 minutes. Cancel it," Alexander said. "A mother is more important." Lily blinked in surprise. "No billionaire talks like that," she murmured. Alexander looked at her briefly. "Maybe I'm not the kind of billionaire you think." They drove to a small, old building in the Bronx. The staircase creaked under their weight. Paint peeled from the walls. Lily opened a door to a tiny apartment. Maria Rodriguez lay on a thin mattress, pale and weak, struggling to sit up when she saw him. "Mr. Thornwell." "I'm sorry you came here." "Don't apologize," he said gently. "You should be resting." Her eyes filled with guilt. "I couldn't work today. A broken bar." "You won't work until you're healthy," he cut in. "I'll handle the medical bills." Maria gasped. Lily stared at him with disbelief and hope mixing in her eyes. And Alexander felt something strange inside him. Warmth. Purpose. For the first time in the promise, Maria was taken to the hospital immediately in Alexander's own car, with his personal driver. Lily sat quietly beside him. "Why are you helping us?" she finally asked, looking out the window. Alexander hesitated. "I grew up alone," he said softly. "I know what struggle looks like. I know how heavy it feels." Lily listened carefully. "You were alone?" "For a very long time." She looked at him. Really looked. "You don't have to be." Her words hit deeper than he expected. The doctor examined Maria and came out with a serious expression. "She has been ignoring her symptoms. She needs proper treatment." Alexander nodded firmly. "She'll get it." The doctor turned to Lily. "Your mother is lucky to have someone like him." Lily lowered her head shyly. "She's lucky, a broken bar, but I think he is too." Alexander's breath caught for a moment. Nobody had ever said he was lucky in decades. And he didn't know how much those simple words would mean later. The night everything connected. Lily refused to leave her mother's side. So Alexander stayed too, quietly sitting in the corner of the hospital room. At midnight, Lily finally fell asleep on the chair, her small head resting against the bedrail. Alexander stood quietly, watching her. So young, so burdened, yet so full of hope. She reminded him of something he had lost long ago, humanity. Maria opened her eyes weakly. "She fell asleep, a broken bar," she whispered. "She was worried about you," Alexander replied. Maria looked at him gently. "You don't owe us anything, sir. I'm just your maid." Alexander shook his head. You're a person, a mother, and you've worked harder than anyone in my company." Maria smiled faintly. "You're kinder than people say. Or maybe I'm just trying to be human again." Maria's eyes softened. "Then don't stop. My daughter a broken bar. She needs someone strong in her life." Alexander didn't answer. But something settled inside him, something he didn't dare name yet. The bond begins. The next morning, Lily woke up to find a warm breakfast tray beside her bed, something the nurses said was ordered by Alexander himself. Maria smiled. He stayed all night. Lily's eyes widened. Why? Alexander entered just then, with fresh flowers for Maria. Lily spoke before he could say anything. Do a broken bar care about us? Alexander froze. Care? It wasn't a word used in his world. Not in boardrooms, not in contracts, not in billionaire mansions. But looking at Lily, at her tired eyes searching for hope, he found his answer. I do, he said quietly. More than you know. Maria covered her mouth to hide her emotions. Lily stepped closer to him. Then don't go, she whispered. Alexander looked at both of them. I'm not going anywhere. And for the first time in his life, a broken bar. He meant it. The billionaire's confession. Summer arrived in New York with warm breezes, and Alexander found himself doing something he never imagined, closing his laptop early. He was supposed to attend a meeting with global investors, but instead, he walked out of the building and crossed the street toward Lily's school science fair. When Lily spotted him, her face lit up like fireworks. You came? Of course I came, he replied with a smile. I wouldn't miss it. Lily guided him to her project, a small prototype of a solar-powered heater made from recycled materials. This is for low-income families, she explained. So kids don't freeze in winter. Alexander stared at her, proud, amazed, humbled. You're going to change the world, he said softly. More than I ever did. Lily tilted her head. You already changed mine. At that moment, he realized something he had never dared to admit. He loved this girl like the daughter he never had. The storm nobody expected. Life felt perfect, a broken bar, until one autumn night when Alexander received a call from the hospital. Sir, Maria Rodriguez has been admitted. It's serious. His heart dropped. He reached the hospital in minutes. Lily sat outside the ICU, shivering, her eyes red. She fainted at work. Lily whispered. The doctors say her heart is failing, a broken bar. Alexander sat beside her, wrapping his coat around her trembling shoulders. Hey, a broken bar, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. She leaned on him and cried soft, painful sobs that shattered something inside him. The doctor walked out hours later. She needs immediate surgery, he said. But it's risky. Alexander stood tall. Do whatever it takes. I'll sign everything. Lily squeezed his hand. Please, broken bar, don't let anything happen to my mom. And at that moment, Alexander made a silent promise. If life demanded it, he would give everything he had for them. The choice that defined him. Maria's surgery began at midnight. Alexander and Lily waited together in the cold hallway. Hours passed painfully. Lily sat curled beside him, clutching his sleeve like a lifeline. Mr. Alexander, she whispered. Why are you doing all this? You don't have to. He looked at her gently. Lily, ever since the day you walked into my a broken bar, I've felt something I never felt before. What? Purpose. Her eyes widened. You and your mother showed me what it means to care, to feel, to be human. I owe you both more than you owe me. Lily's voice broke. I don't want to lose her. You won't, he promised. Because I'm not letting you walk through life alone. A new beginning. Hours later, the surgeon came out with a tired smile. She made it. The surgery was successful. Lily cried in relief and threw her arms around Alexander. You saved her. You saved my mom. He held her close. Eyes closed. No, Lily, you saved her. Your love kept her alive. Days passed, and Maria regained consciousness. The first face she saw was Lily. The second was Alexander. Sir, a broken bar, she whispered weakly. Don't call me sir, he said gently. Not anymore. Maria smiled faintly. You've done to me, a broken bar. Why? He hesitated before answering. Because broken bar, you are family. Maria's tears rolled silently. Alexander took Lily's hand. Let me take care of both of you. Not out of charity, but out of love. And in that quiet hospital room, something beautiful was born. A home, not made of walls, a broken bar, but of hearts. The final ending, a forever family. 5 years later, a broken bar. Lily stood on a stage again, now this time wearing a college graduation robe. Maria sat proudly in the front row, strong and healthy. And next to her sat Alexander Thornwell, no longer the cold billionaire the world once feared. He was smiling. When Lily stepped up to the microphone, she scanned the crowded broken bar, then looked directly at him. Once, I was a little girl who walked into a billionaire's office with fear and hope in my heart. I didn't know that moment would change my entire life. The hall fell silent. He wasn't my father, but he chose to be. He saved my mother. He stood by me. He taught me courage, kindness, and ambition. Her voice softened. And today, a broken bar, I dedicate my degree to the man who turned a lonely office into a home. Everyone rose in applause. Alexander wiped tears he didn't hide anymore. After the ceremony, Lily hugged him tightly. "Dad," she whispered for the first time. He froze, then hugged her back, a full, warm, trembling hug. "That's the greatest title I'll ever earn," he said. And for the first time in decades, a broken bar. Alexander Thornwell felt complete. The billionaire didn't gain a daughter. He gained a family, a forever family. By the end,